But anyway, I'm gonna hit record. Yes, okay. So hello everyone, thank you for coming. Our goal here today is to help you choose your major, what to major in. I know it's a complicated situation to be in. It's very difficult for all of us. Here we have 6 people who are gonna share how they chose their major. So hopefully this can really help you choose yours. I'm pretty sure, it's good. Definitely going to be difficult, but I'm pretty sure you can do it. On our list, we have Daniel, me, Jonathan, Jordan, Tyler, Orly, and Brian. So for the 6 of us, a quick round of introductions, please. I want your name, your year, and your major, and then we'll start sharing with Daniel. Okay. So I'll go first in the introduction round process. Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Diaz. I'm currently a senior, class of 2021, and I'm majoring in physics with a minor in math. Daniel?
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm a senior, and I'm majoring in computer science and applied mathematics.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Jordan Shields. I'm a sophomore, class of 2023, and I'm majoring in physics and either minoring, but thinking about double majoring in math as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Orly Estrada. I'm a sophomore of class 2023. My major right now is government and my minor in history or double major in history with government.
Hi guys, I'm Tyler. I'm a senior and I'm majoring in kinesiology and health sciences.
Hello, my name is Brian. I majored in computer science, minored in data science, class of 2020, so about a year ago graduated. Currently working as a software engineer for Atlassian.
All right, thank you for the introductions. Like I said, all 6 of us are gonna share how we chose our major, what to study. I bet it was difficult. Anything you would like to share that can help any student is, you can share it. And we'll start with Daniel again. Go ahead, Daniel. Tell us how you chose computer science and math.
Well, first of all, math I always really just enjoyed in general. So I thought I would just think about majoring in it. So I had a conversation with one of my math professors for freshman year, and she really just told me what it would be like to major in math and what I had to actually take. And so it was essentially just a conversation rather than me trying to figure it out on my own. I just talked to a regular math professor, and she actually ended up being my advisor. So the math part was pretty straightforward. Computer science, I just took an intro class. I enjoyed it, but then I didn't know if I really wanted to do it or not. And again, I just kept going to office hours for my software development professor. And he just kept encouraging me on what classes would be good to take or look into if I really wanted to major in computer science. And he actually ended up being my major advisor for computer science. So essentially I chose my majors just based off of conversations rather than me figuring it out. And it just came down to making a connection with one of the professors and then seeing how it goes from there.
All right, thanks, Daniel. I'm next. How did I choose my major? So why physics, why math, minor in math? Back in high school, since I'm a first-gen student, I was, on my own about this. I didn't really ask for help, even though I should have. So I really encourage you to ask for help if you need to choose your major or what to study. But the way I did it was I looked at the courses I took in high school, and I sort of chose what I liked the best, and it just so happened to be physics. And so, once I chose the course I like the best in high school, it's physics, I had to do my research. So what can I do with a physics degree and how can I apply myself to the real world once I graduate? So I searched that up, and apparently you can be sort of an IT analyst with a physics degree, making, this amount of money in terms of salary, in terms of benefits. And it sort of brings me to a point I want to make. when you choose your subject, the subject that you like, in my case it was physics, make sure you do your research. So what are the job outcomes for a physics degree? What can you do? So, there are many things you can, find online. Most of the case, it's, jobs you can get across the United States. But think about where you live. For me, I live in Northern Virginia. What jobs can I get with a physics degree in Northern Virginia? What are the job outcomes? Is employment rising with this degree? Am I allowed to get benefits from a certain company? How hard is it to get a position, a job at that certain company? If I don't do well in my physics degree, can I still land that job in that specific company I found? Those are the type of things we generally have to do. Like first chance students generally have to do that. When you get to campus or when you talk to other, like your peers, they don't really have to go through that process. Step A, choose your major, and then step B, do your research on that major, dissect it, to the extent. And another thing I want to add is once you choose your major, really just do your research on it, but also think about the skills you can acquire. And that's what really drew me to physics. So yes, I'm solving equations, math problems, things like that. But keep in mind, critical thinking, your problem solving, your mapping, you're dealing with all these like complex problems, and it's just really hard to dissect, and you need sort of a structure to push you through it. So those skill sets I'll be acquiring with my physics degree, really propelled me to study physics. And that's how I chose my degree. Hopefully that helps. Next.
So I am also a physics major, and a lot of the things Jonathan said, I also went through when I was choosing what major to have. But when I came to William and Mary, I originally was like, I'm a physics major because that's just like where I was at the time. Physics was my best subject in high school, but I was originally planning on like just taking a bunch of classes and choosing a different major because I wasn't that into it. But what I did when I got here, I took like just the regular physics classes. And I was like, I kind of threw myself into the department, and I tried really hard to make a lot of friends in my classes and everything, and surround myself with other people who also love the subject. And it made me realize that I actually really do love physics. And talking with my professors and everything, and talking with other people in the department, it's what really solidified the fact that I really enjoyed physics. And so I decided right then and there that I was going to major in it. I didn't really do research into what I could do with that degree outside of college until after I was already kind of in the thick of it. But like my plan right now is to go to grad school but only after talking with my major advisor, or my pre-major advisor rather, because she's the one that told me that a lot of PhD programs are actually sponsored, and like you can really get funding for a lot of different programs that you go to. And so like I never really considered grad school even as an option for me before college, because I was just like, that's way too expensive, and I need to go straight into the workforce and all of these other things that I was just like, there's no way that I'd go to grad school after that. But like after talking with professors and seeing what other people plan to do with it, that's like a really legitimate option for me. And academics has always been like where I shine best. So it's just like talking with other people and your professors to kind of see what the options are and what's out there for your specific degree, because like, yes, you would definitely have to think about what you're going to do outside of college and after you get your degree. But I think it's really important to also make sure that you're doing what you love and finding something specific that you can do with what you love. So like if there's like a specific thing that you're like, I really want to major in this, I'm here for like 4 years, I'm going to do it like this, then like there's got to be some kind of options, even if it's like you got to double major in something else to like make sure that you still have like the financial backing. It's important to do what you love. So yeah, I just chose my major because I definitely really loved it. But I made sure that there was like a plan for me afterwards, and like I'm kind of incessant about planning. So I have like my whole undergrad career planned out already, which I would not recommend. There's a lot of stress with that, but yeah, it's definitely just about planning and like making sure that you have a balance of doing what you love, but also having done the research and having a plan for the future. But yeah.
Next on the list, we have Tyler.
Yeah, so I came in the pre-med route, so I automatically just chose one of those majors. I just chose the biology route. I got so I declared first semester of my sophomore year. That would like put me into the thick of it with all these biology classes. Turned out I didn't really like it, and I started actually doing my research, like what other job I could have in the medical career. So then I wanted to decide to be a PA, and then the kinesiology department, their like program pretty much like perfectly aligns with like the prerequisites for PA school. So it worked out perfect. So I switched my major first semester of my junior year, and I've been a kinesiology major since then. But I'm really glad I made this switch. I definitely feel like I'm on the right like career path now. And pretty much like if you do your research, you don't have to make the same mistake I did, but it is okay to change your major. Like they do get like there is enough time to complete the designated requirements if you decide to change your major.
Orly. Okay, Orly left. Brian.
Yeah, so I was also computer science. My case was a little bit special because I was able to start really early, mainly because there was a computer science course offered junior year of my high school, which is typically unheard of in a lot of other counties. So I took the course and I knew, not immediately, but over time, that I knew I wanted to continue with that. I started looking up. The first thing I did, I think, is looking up like what kind of jobs can you do with computer related experience. From there, the most often result I found was the computer science major. So I looked into it more, saw the types of jobs you can get in it. And very importantly, for me at least, I looked at what salaries I could be earning with that job. So as someone who's first generation, this was super important to me because I knew I wouldn't have to just support myself with the salary, but I would also have to support my family. And so I had to compromise a little, right? I couldn't do entirely what I loved to do, but I also do enjoy it. So I was able to find a healthy balance of it within computer science. And yeah, just knew really early on that I wanted to do it, and I knew what I could get after getting the major. So that served as a really good motivator for going through the major because the major is hard. It is not easy. Struggled a lot through it, especially in some of the harder weed out classes. But just imagining, having that comfortable software engineering job, being able to have the flexibility, the work from home, like all these benefits that come with some of those higher end jobs could be possible so long as I studied hard and was able to get the grades I needed and get the experience that I needed. So for me, that's what it was. It was starting really, really early, trying to really hone in on a job or a type of job, and then from there, get the appropriate major for that job. So it's almost like backwards a bit, Instead of thinking about what you like, it's like thinking about what kind of job you would be good at and that you would enjoy, and then going back, what major applies to that, and then what classes do you need to take for that. Um, so that was my personal experience. I've also seen people though who are lucky enough to be able to do what they love, and so they were able to do things like go to grad school. But usually it's really hard to like find what you really want to do during college. Some people don't find it until way after college, like when they're way older. So if you're looking to do something like that, I just encourage you to experiment with it. I've seen people switch majors 3 times, 4 times, even 5 times. It takes them a few extra years. Maybe they decide to go to grad school. But just by experimenting, just by getting out of your bubble, by sort of trying something that maybe your parents don't want you to do because they're like, I don't know, lawyers or doctors or something, but you really want to be a teacher or something like that. Just, going out there, um, and just trying it out. I think a great place to start for practical things is to like take the Myers-Briggs personality test, see where you land on it. It's pretty reflecting of what your personality is. So I think that's a great starting point. I took it and it happened to line in with computer science, so that's great. I've seen some other people take it and it helped them really solidify where their values lie and what they really enjoy doing, rather than ending up in some job that they wouldn't enjoy doing. So two key takeaways: if you're lucky enough to be able to start really early and know what you want, definitely do that. If you really have no idea what you want, and that's a lot of people, just try different things out and try to find out what you do like, so that you can find what job you would ideally want to do. So two parts there, two very different scenarios, but find which one you fit into and try to go through that path. I think is the best way to go about it.
All right, thank you, Brian. Thank you everyone for sharing. I do have a sort of a follow-up question for you all. If you guys want to answer, chip in. But your major advisor, how did you choose your major advisor? And just for some brief context, once you get admitted into William & Mary, once you're, your first day, I think, or your first week, or it might be the second week, I don't really remember now. But you get paired up with a pre-major advisor. So I majored in physics, but my pre-major advisor was in the computer science department. And they're supposed to help you, guide you through how to choose your major, what you want to study, things like that. If you have any questions about the school, you go to them. But once you choose your major, you have to choose someone in the, well, in my case, in the physics department to be my major advisor. So my question for you all is, how did you know, how did you pick your major advisor? And I'll go first. In my case, it was, I sort of browsed online, the physics department website, looked at the faculty members, and I just spoke with them. So the first one I spoke with was amazing. Like, she was helping me, she was answering. I had a list of questions, and I sort of rated her on how much she was helping me based off of those questions I had. But she was answering them like genuinely. She seemed like she really cared. And then right then and there, it was, I was pretty lucky. So the first person I met, was one I really liked. And so choosing my major advisor wasn't so difficult. It might be difficult for others, but that was just my case. Does anyone want to share their experience? Go ahead and unmute, please.
Yeah, I can share. So when I first declared as a biology major, I just started emailing like professors that I had had. And then I emailed this professor I really liked, but he had already had the max amount of like advisees you can have. So I couldn't have him. And then I just emailed like my current professor. I think I was in like plant bio or something. And then I just like went in and talked to him. We met, and then he became my advisor. And then when I switched, it was actually really easy because I had already had a lot of classes with this one professor and I was already familiar with her. So I just emailed her immediately when I was planning on switching my major. And she said yes. We went in and talked and we got it done. So it's really not that like hard of a process, I would say. Just like, especially if you have like a professor you really like from one of the classes within your major, I would just email them as soon as possible, just so like they don't fill up, especially if it's like a popular professor. But yeah.
Yeah, going off of that, I really chose mine based off of the professor that helped me the most during office hours. So usually my first year, I would go to office hours when I didn't understand anything, like you probably typically would. And the main thing that stuck out to me was how helpful the professors were. And then right after office hours, they would try to get to know me. So that just showed that they really cared. And you start building that connection, as I mentioned before. And that was really the seller for me to narrow down my list of advisors. And then when I brought up I wanted to major in the subject, the two professors that really were excited and were willing to help me like choose schedules without even knowing that they were my advisor made it easier to choose them.
So when I went to go look at or pick my major advisor, I actually I emailed like all of the professors that I could find in the physics department, and I was just like, do you want to meet with me? And I actually was like meeting with them to talk about what kind of research they did, because I was just interested in knowing more about it. But I just like met with each of them individually, and I just kind of saw who was the best, I guess, that I liked the most. I didn't like, because it was important to me that my major advisor was someone that I could talk to and that I wouldn't feel like stupid when I'm asking questions, because my pre-major advisor was like absolutely amazing. But she was a chemistry professor and like I have no interest in chemistry. And so it was just like I wanted someone who I could have the same kind of relationship with, where like I could ask her absolutely anything and not feel dumb at all. And she'd give me like really good responses back. And so I met with a couple of professors, and some of them were okay, some of them were better than others. But the one that stood out to me, Professor Caron in the physics department, he was just super, super funny and super cool. And I really felt like I could talk to him about things. And he's also like the chair or something. So he's super knowledgeable about the physics department and everything, that like all the requirements and everything. And I remember when I was sitting there in the meeting, like I was like talking about what I should do and who I should do research with. And he was basically like, okay, I'm going to run down every professor in the department and give you the tea on all of them and who you should and should not do research with. And that was super helpful and funny. But yeah, for me, it was just kind of more about who I felt like I could talk to more than who, because he wasn't my professor at all either. And so it was just more about who I felt like I could talk to. I will say though, just because like you have one major advisor doesn't mean you can't ask other professors questions, because like I regularly talk to my lab professor about like things related to like labs. Like I have this internship coming up that's specifically related to the lab work that I do with him in my actual class, and so I ask him questions outside of the scope of classes regularly. And I ask Professor Caron questions about like scheduling and stuff like that and requirements and everything. And so like, yes, a major advisor is a very important relationship to have, and it's important to take into account how helpful they are and how much you could talk to them and whether you actually like want to talk to them. But it's also like, it doesn't mean that you can't ask professors other questions and other professors, and you can't like build relationships with other professors at the end of the day. So yeah, that's how I chose mine.
I can share two really quickly. Um, I think one of the easiest things is just to ask around with any people in your major and see who they have. And if those people are cool, then their advisor is usually cool. I got really lucky because my pre-major advisor was also my major advisor, same person in the computer science industry or field major. And I think I knew for sure that I wanted him to be my advisor was because a lot of these professors are like old white dudes, to be honest. But some of them are, a little more interesting than others. So, for example, Professor Kemper, he's an old white dude, but he's a German immigrant. So he had that sort of immigrant experience that I could share with him. And one time we were just chatting, and we brought it up, and we sort of shared how that experience was for each other. And you could kind of tell that he was really in touch with the students, really cared about them, really wanted to see them succeed, and wanted to be there for them. So I don't know, just talking to your advisor, seeing if any of your cool friends have a cool advisor, and yeah, just seeing if you can relate to them in any special way. Maybe so, maybe not. But for me, that was how I connected and really knew for sure that I wanted him to be my advisor.
All right, thank you guys so much for sharing. I believe those were the two most important questions you should sort of ask yourself: how to choose your major, and obviously how to choose your major advisor. Okay, so the next thing I want to touch on is really, you have your major. How do you actually declare it? Like, do you sign a contract? Do you go to like, the president? I'm about to show you right now. I'm going to share my screen for a bit and show you the forms you have to fill out. Okay, so right now you are looking at, wait, let me move a couple things around. Right now you're looking at the major declaration form. I know it looks sort of scary at first. When I looked at it, I was like, I literally don't know what to do here, but believe me, if you just sit down, take your time and read it carefully, it's absolutely amazing. Obviously, you can talk to your pre-major advisor for some help, any faculty member, on how to fill this out, make sure you're doing everything correctly. This form is going to be posted in the link in the description. And for everyone else, I'm going to email this form to you. And if you want to declare your minor, here's that document. Once you fill this out, your next question is, who do you send it to? Going back to the major, document, I majored in physics, so I just had to look up who is the chair of the physics department, Professor Carone. Here was his email, and all I had to do was attach the document, filled out, with all the classes, with the signature and everything, and told him, hey, I want to declare my major, got it done, and that is all you have to do. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I don't, stop share. There you go. Okay, so Zoom is a little bit complicated, but hopefully that helps. Hopefully you gain some insight on that. For those of you watching on YouTube, I'm glad that you watched. You took the time to really clarify any questions you had in mind. I hope you learned here anything that can really help you. I bet you did. These are amazing experiences that you guys shared. Thank you so much for that. I'm literally, believe me, you're going to help, students out there with, tons of questions. And as of that, I'll pause and stop the recording.